Another day, another story. Part 3. The most frightening thing is on the playgrounds. People were really buried there, because the sand and soft soil made it easier to dig. And people also tried to bury their neighbors not far from their houses, so that the graves could be found. Fresh wooden plywood crosses with handwritten plaques look horrifying against the background of the ruined city. The fact that artificial or fresh flowers appear on these graves is even more horrifying. These are real mass graves in the streets of a completely destroyed city in the 21st century. There is no forgiveness for the occupiers who did this. And great pride for the Ukrainians who defend Mariupol and defend these mass graves. No resident of Mariupol would want these same Russian occupiers to bury their relatives who died at the hands of the occupiers. Another scene that is permanently etched in my memory. There, in the same shelled building, when we started going around the apartments to make sure no one was hurt, we saw a man with a torn lip sitting on the stairwell by the window. Another man was stitching up his lip. He turned to us and said, "Hello, my name is Eduard Ivanovich. Do you have any bandaging material?" We gave him our entire first aid kit. It turned out that he was a dental surgeon who practiced on the first floor of this house. I was very proud of this man at that moment. Despite the terrible situation, he remained calm. I was greatly inspired by this humble heroism of a simple doctor who could have taken refuge in his apartment, but instead went out and did his medical duty. I thought that in war there are no small deeds, and every deed we do is a big deed. Consequences of shelling in an apartment building in Mariupol, March 27th. We realized we had to leave town when the street fighting started, and the front lines were getting closer and closer to our volunteer center. One day on my way home from work, I saw a tank with the letter Z driving down a nearby street. So we all realized that most of us had to leave so as not to add to the work of the doctors, the military. Not to be a risk factor. Because the occupiers treat the volunteers terribly, treat them like soldiers. We could be taken prisoner, used for manipulation. On March 15th the humanitarian corridor started. I left the city on the 16th. We had several seats in the car, so we took one family first, which we dropped off in Berdyansk. Then we took another family, which consisted of a grandmother, mother, 2 daughters, and they also had 2 cats, a turtle and some hamsters. I thought at the time, what holy people. They didn't have a lot of personal belongings, but they took all their animals. In the Tokmak area, a man with a machine gun, who was standing at the checkpoint under the DNR flag, fired a round at our car. Some of the bullets went into the front door, some into the back door. One went over my head and the driver's head. He got some shrapnel in his eye, but he was so shocked that he only realized it in Zaporizhia. The girl who was sitting in the back was shot in the head. She was in a very serious condition. Fortunately, she was able to be transported to Zaporizhia. And a few days ago I saw a report on CNN about her. She has already recovered. She will be left with scars. I don't know if she will fully recover, but at least she's alive. I really wish her well. Everyone asks me why the man started shooting. I have no explanation. Why did the Russians attack us in the first place? Maybe because they are occupiers, they don't follow the rules of war. Maybe because they think it's okay to shoot at a car with women and children in it, think it's okay to violate the rules of the humanitarian corridor. Or maybe because they deliberately wanted to intimidate us so that other cars would turn around and go to the so-called DNR. After all, it is not for nothing that they spread rumors that Ukraine does not accept migrants. This is done in order to take our people to Russia and keep them there as hostages. Texts are breaking through from those who stayed in Mariupol. There is no stable communication. For example, a friend of mine wrote me that cars with loudspeakers are driving around the city, telling me that Kiev and other Ukrainian cities have already been taken over and Ukraine has surrendered. This is how enemy propaganda works. They want to intimidate the people of Mariupol, who have already spent a month in basements. This news should finish them off. I don't know how many years or decades it will take to rebuild Mariupol, but I believe it will be done. Let a new city grow in this place. It will be Ukrainian. All the same Mariupol citizens will live in it, who will surely come back when they have somewhere to return. I don't feel safe yet. I will feel safe when the last Russian soldiers have left Ukraine. Right now they can leave on their own feet or go home in coffins. For now they prefer the latter. The outcome of this war is clear. Russia will be defeated because, historically speaking, good always defeats evil. Thanks for watching.